Hello, today's video is on the M1 Garand. What else could possibly be said about this rifle? It is an American icon. It is an American hero. These are still available through a lot of different resources, CMP. There's a lot of firearms dealers that deal just exclusively in these. Orion 7 on Suffolk County, Long Island is one guy that I know that sells quality pieces. It's around CMP prices, but it's a place where if you happen to live in New York, you could visit and actually pick one out instead of just having them just send you one and just take what they give you. Let's break this thing down a little bit. Maybe just give you a little bit of a heads up on just some of the features. There's a lot of videos on this rifle out there from people much more knowledgeable than me, but just thought a quick breakdown, show you some things that I never really see anybody showing close up. We'll start from back to front. First of all, in the buttstock of this gun, you have plenty of room here because there is no mechanism in this gun from the receiver back. This is all just solid wood. There's no springs in here, no rods, no nothing. So they have plenty of room in here to use for storage. I have in here a complete set of rods, cleaning rods and patches up here. Down here is grease, oil, and the universal tool, which is used, you put it inside the bolt, and it has screwdrivers, things on it, ways you manipulate it to take out the firing pin, and you can do just about anything you need to do to the rifle with the universal tool that's also in here. This is the safety on this rifle. It's a safety that actually covers the trigger guard, which I kind of like. I'm a big fan of a safety like this, so that when you put your finger in the trigger, as soon as you go to put your finger in the trigger, you feel that and you know that the safety's on, to take it off. For a rifle that's used as a combat rifle, you definitely don't want to be pulling the trigger thinking that you're going to fire when you have the safety on. So a safety like this, there are no mistakes. It's easy to actuate, and it's easy to just flick it off the second your finger goes in the trigger. You know that it's on. These are the sights. It's a rear, I guess you'd call it a peep sight. I'm not really 100% sure what the name of this kind of sight would be. I would call it a peep sight. It's fully adjustable here with these knobs on the side for windage and elevation. Here's a nice shot for you for the inside mechanism. It's a very interesting mechanism here for loading, carrying ammo, loading ammunition. It's unique to this gun as far as I know. I've never seen anything that was quite similar. It's really clip fed, but not stripper clip fed. It's fed by a clip that uses this follower inside, and together with the clip and the follower makes a magazine. It's very interesting. The components are all there. They're just, some of them are inside the gun instead of inside what the typical magazine would look like. As you see, this follower here travels up and down on rails in there, and what that does is, let's see, where do I go to all my stuff? Here we go. This is an end block clip that's used to house the rounds for an M1 Garand, and you'll notice that this clip, in conjunction with the follower inside, actually constructs a box magazine. A box magazine is nothing but a case, like, let's say, like this, and inside that case would be a spring on a plate that pushes the rounds upwards as you fire to feed them into the gun. Well, this would be the case, and this would be the plate that lays at the bottom, that's spring-loaded, that pushes the rounds up. And together, those things together make for you're actually constructing a magazine inside the gun, a regular box magazine, when you add this in with the rounds. And that familiar noise that you hear when a Garand is emptied, the last round, let's say, would be when the bolt is opened on the empty magazine. Because it is spring-loaded, the follower is spring-loaded, it pop out of the gun. And that's where that distinctive noise comes from, is the reverberation of the actual end block clips. And the gun does stay open after the last round is fired, and what's interesting is when you have a new magazine to load the gun with right after the last round is fired, you see it simply fits right in there, and you just shove it in, and usually it'll just close. Every once in a while you'll see in movies and things where you give it a little palm slap. Every once in a while that first round will hang up. But more often than not, when you push it in, if it's oiled nice and the rifle is kept nice and greased, it'll just slam closed right on that first round. You kind of got to, get your thumb out of there quick. But for World War II, when everyone was firing bolt-action rifles, to be able to unload 8 rounds semi-automatically and then just have an end block clip in your hand and jam that right in and bolt closes and you're right back to firing another 8 rounds, you could put a lot of firepower downrange back in those days that you wouldn't normally be able to do, with the bolt-action rifles of the time. Now the rifle, again, it operates semi-automatically. Each time you'd fire, the operating rod would push the bolt back, and it would spring forward and chamber the next round automatically. You see that operating rod works here. It's connected to the bolt. Here's the rod that connects to a collar that's wrapped around the barrel. That's connected to this long operating rod. If you see this rod, this here moves. This is the operating rod that connects to the gas cylinder here. Now this is where all the technology of this rifle comes right into play, is right here. What Garand invented that was special was this piece right here, that the bullet, as it traveled down the barrel, has tremendous pressure behind it here, pushing the bullet out. And when the bullet would reach right around the mid-sight, right around here, there are 2 holes in the barrel on the bottom here. And those 2 holes are connected by a passageway into this sealed tube right here. And this sealed tube, once the bullet reached here and started traveling to around this area, tremendous pressure would be forced through those 2 holes, and this operating rod, when the bolt is in its closed position, is sitting way up here. And as that pressure enters this tube, it pushes the flat plate, the piston, down, like a piston in an automobile engine. And when it pushes that piston down, it's pushing this rod, which is connected here, which is connected to the bolt, which shoves this back and kicks the round out, and it slaps forward and loads another round. So bang, bang, bang. That's how this thing shoots, semi-automatically for World War II. And of course, on your last round, bang, the end block clip flies out and the bolt stays open. And I am never going to find those 3006 snap caps. Some interesting things I could point out here. This is the bayonet lug that's on the gas block. A couple of interesting things are this plug that goes at the end of this tube. This is the barrel here, and this is the gas tube here. This plug, in the end, there's different ones. There's one that looks like this, and I have another one that looks like this. The difference with them is this one is used for, I believe, for the grenade launcher. It has an opening in there, a relief that somehow the gas is allowed through to do so. I'm not 100% sure of how this works. But the reason why I have this one on, I'll show you, is it's the only one that you'll be able to connect both era bayonets, the World War II and the Korean era bayonet.